recording. Okay, so if you haven't known yet, so actually when every time I teach you guys online, I will record it and I'm gonna upload this video to YouTube. So if you want to see it again, and or maybe you want to review some concept that we have learned at school in this session, you can go to my YouTube channel to see the lesson. Yeah. Okay, so again, like I said before, guys, you need your notebook, of course, and of course your pen. Yeah. Please take them right now. So because I'm gonna show you something, and you need to write it down. And as I have previously mentioned, that you can use your note for the quiz, right? You can open your note. Of course, that this is going to be your personal notebook, not your friend's notebook. Yeah. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one, maybe I forgot to mention last time is, have I mentioned about highlighter, guys? Belum ya?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so I think one more tools that you need to bring to school is a highlighter. You know highlighter ya, kayak stabilo. You know stabilo, right? Something like this, or wait, have like this, right? So this is going to be useful for you guys for your notes actually. Uh, uh, when you have like new subtopics, or maybe some formulas, you might want to use this highlighter to highlight the notes, right? Because when you, for example, if you are in the quiz, you want to see some notes, right? And you want to see formulas, you can just, like, for example, you are using yellow for all of the formulas that you write on your notes. So you can just see, oh yeah, which one are the yellow one. So you can see formulas there. Yeah. So I suggest that you have at least two different colors. Mine is, I have orange and I have yellow. I actually have pink and green. I left it at school, not here. Yeah. Okay. So yes, please use your note for today. If you haven't, if you left your note at school, you can use a binder paper maybe. But please put that later on. If you go to school on Monday, you can just like use a stapler maybe, or a glue to stick it into your notebook. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's start the lesson. I'm going to show you a PowerPoint presentation, and please write down the title for the first one. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Here we go. Okay. Okay, here we go. So this is going to be our first topic for this semester, which is about types of numbers. Okay, so let's talk about this first. When I'm talking about types of number, you usually say that there are a lot of types of number, and you also have learned that when you are in primary school. Can anyone tell me what types of number that you have learned when you are in primary school? Silakan, siapa aja? Ada yang mau ngomong nggak? Justin, yes.
Maybe natural, real, and rational.
Okay, very good. Natural, real, and rational. Yes. Anyone else? Maybe, because we have a lot of types of numbers actually.
This is the ones that we learn in primary only, right?
Yes, when you are in primary.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Kadit,
primary, there's even an odd number.
yeah, even an odd number. Yes, very good. Anyone else? Girls maybe. Gimana girls first? Gak ada? Oh yes, sudah. Okay. So the types of number that we're going to learn, actually it's involved, yes, what Justin said. We have natural number, we have apa tadi, rational number, right? And so on and so on. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about types of number that specifically or generally are being used in all in the whole world. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be the first types of number that I'm going to show you. Here we go. Okay, this is the first one. Okay, like I said before, guys, you need to write it down because later on, I'm going to give you one question in the table. So actually, there's more than one question, but you're going to, the task is for you to determine whether that number is included into, like, for example, is it natural number, just natural number or integers, whole number, and so on, right? So you might want to write this down, yeah? Okay, saya mute dulu ya, Justin, thank you. Okay, so natural number here, the first one, is a number which are naturally used for counting. As you can see that there in the PowerPoint in the presentation, I write down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 3 dots. Does anyone know what the 3 dots means?
etc.
ETC, yes. ETC is etc., is it? Or in here, Justin, maybe you want to.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 dots means that it keeps going until infinity.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so that 3 dots means that it's going into infinity because we don't see any other number after the 3 dots. So as you can see that we have actually seen a pattern, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 is actually just like adding 1 to the next number. Like 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, and so on, so on, so on. You add 1 to the next number. Okay?
Teachers also usually call these numbers counting numbers.
Yes, counting numbers. Yes, it is. So one of the what do you call it? One of the things that I use to memorize this actually is a natural number. We call it natural because when you were still a kid, your parents, I believe that your parents will teach you count from 1. Is it?
Yes.
Iya nggak sih? Ada nggak yang diajarin dari angka 100 misalnya? Atau
I learned how
negatif?
to count until the thousands in grade 1.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a special case. But for example, when you're in like 3 years old or 4 years old, right? So I believe that your parents or anyone who taught you numbers, they will start from 1. They won't start from other number than 1. They will start from 1. Yeah, kan? That's why we call it natural. Yeah. Okay, so that is for the first type of number. The next one is whole number. Okay. Tadi okay, I'm gonna show you guys. So maybe you are going to use this in Bahasa Indonesia. Yeah, so I'm gonna write down this in Indonesia also. So does anyone know what natural number in Bahasa Indonesia?
Nomor natural.
Kan. Bilangan, we call it. Bilangan apa ya? Kayaknya ada yang tahu nih. Bilangan. Bilangan asli, guys. Ya, bilangan asli, ya guys. Okay, so natural number in Bahasa Indonesia we call bilangan asli. Okay. In case you want to know. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. The next one, number 2, is a whole number. Let's do what is whole number in Bahasa Indonesia? Ada yang tahu nggak?
Bilangan seluruh.
Okay, interesting, but it's not. Kalau dipakai bahasa ini, iya sih bener sih bilangan seluruh sih, tapi bukan itu ya. So whole number in bahasa Indonesia we call it bilangan. Sorry ya tulisannya jelek. Ada yang tahu? C. Bilangan caur kan. Cacah. Ya, benar Syaira. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, it is bilangan cacah ya, guys. So the difference between natural number and whole number is only that one number, which is the 0, right? So previously we know that natural number can start from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on. But whole number is starting from 0. Yeah. So you start from 0 and then you do the rest like natural number. So the 0, 0,
Wait,
1, 2, 3. Yes.
So we can call a natural number also a whole number. Like for example, number 1 is integer, a whole, natural, and a rational.
Yes,
Is
it
that
is.
correct?
Yes,
Oh, and
that
the
is.
real number and a
Yes.
real number.
Yes. Yes, Radit.
I have a question. A whole number starts from 0. So it can't be minus, right?
Yeah, minus is not a whole number. We have different name for that.
Minus is integer.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that after this. Yeah, the third types of number. Yes, thank you, Radit and Justin, for the question. Yes. So yes, like Justin said before, guys. So a number can be included into more than one type of number. Yeah, for example, like 1. We have 1 over here, right? 1 is included into natural number and also whole number. if we're just talking about these two types of number 1 and number 2, right? We just talk about natural and whole number. So for this case, number 1, like 1 is actually a natural number and also a whole number. So a number can be included into more than one types of number. Yeah. So we're going to do that later on the last activity. Yeah. After this. Okay. That's the only difference between whole number and natural number. So the only difference is that 0 over there. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next type of number. Here we go. Okay, this is Raditya's question previously. So when we're talking about negative numbers, right? So it's like a natural number, a whole number, and the negative numbers, like if we know that we have 1, we also have -1. If we have 2, we have -2, and so on, so on, so on, right? So we call this integers. Nah, integers in bahasa Indonesia ada yang tahu bilang apa? Ada yang tahu dari the letter B?
Bulat bukan?
Bulat, yes. Bilangan bulat, ya. Oke, bilangan bulat. Kalau di bahasa Inggrisin harusnya round numbers ya. Tapi bukan round, guys. Bulat itu round. Tapi kita sebutnya integers. Okay, so this number is going to be mentioned a lot, guys. So I suggest that you understand completely which one is which, because these types of number will be mentioned through all of the next lesson after this, right? So if I say integers, right? If I say, oh, the number is integers, you will say, oh, it can be like 1, 2, 3, 0, -1, -2. It cannot be like, for example, like fraction like 2/3, 1/2. That is not an integers, okay? We have a different name for that. BTW ini pada masuk semua nggak?
Dika sama Rafif nggak masuk.
Oh iya, oke. 1, 2, 3.
Tadi bukan Dika, ada Dika ya?
Ada Dika.
Itu Dika.
Itu udah Dika.
Iya, Rafif doang tadi saya dapat kabarnya sebentar. Ya udah, it's okay. Okay, guys, have you write this down? Tolong ya ditulis ya, guys, because yeah, it's going to be very important for you guys to be used for the quiz. Okay, lanjut. Okay, next one. Okay, next one, maybe not all of you know this or haven't learned this when you were in primary, which is what we call a
Rational.
Yeah, rational number. Okay. So this one is rational number. The definition is not any number that can be expressed as a ratio of two integers. Okay, so when we say ratio here, right? Ratio has a very similar meaning as a division and also a fraction. Okay, so when we call ratio, it has a very, very similar meaning as a division or fraction. As you can see that we have those example over there, like 1/2, and then 2/3, and then -5/7, -1001 over 2001, and so on, so on, so on. As you can see that this is what we call ratio. It can be written as a fraction. Yeah. So for now on, guys, I will rarely use this sign. I will rarely use that sign. Yeah. Instead of writing that, I'm going to use fraction. For example, if I give you a question, what is 6 divided by 2? I'm not going to write it down like this. Instead, I'm going to write down like this. Okay.
It's a rational number and also a real number.
Yes, real number. We're going to talk about that later. Yeah, masih belum. Yes, thank you, Justin. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, guys, if you see a fraction, all right, like this, and then you see that okay, still do you still remember what is the name? If we have a fraction, what do we call this top number here? The one on the top.
Denominator.
Denominator? Ada lagi?
Wait, itu bawahnya.
Yang bawah. Yeah, girls, gimana girls?
Nominator sama denominator.
Yes, betul sekali Agneta. Yes, so on the top we call it numerator, ya, numerator. Kalau bahasa Indonesia adalah pembilang, ya. On the bottom we call it denominator. Oh, oops, sorry. Kok jadi besar? Denominator, bukan terminator ya guys, denominator. Okay, so please write this down because I will say these words a lot. Yeah. numerator, denominator. Ini saya akan sering banget mengatakan kata-kata ini ya guys, istilah-istilah ini ya. So yang atas itu kita sebutnya numerator, the one on the bottom as a fraction we call it denominator. Okay, so let's go back to what we call rational number again. So rational number, again, any number that can be expressed as a ratio of two integers. As you can see that on the top and on the bottom, both of them are integers, right? One is an integer, two is an integer. So we can say this is a rational number. 2/3, 2 and 3, both of them are integers. You can see that it can also be a minus, right? So for example, that -5/7, actually, we can also write it down like this, -5/7. It's the same exact thing for this one, for this case, yeah? Or we can say 5/-7, the same thing. But you cannot write it down like this guy because -5/-7 will be positive, right? So you cannot write it down like this, right? So just one of them are negative. So again, because 5 and 7, both of them, or -5 and 7, or 5 and -7 are integers, then we can say this is a integers, and so on, so on. Okay, so let me give you a question. If I have something like this. Okay.
It's a rational number.
How do you know it is a rational number?
Because it keeps going forever.
It keeps going forever. Okay. So actually, we can write this down as like this. Do you know? Yeah. Have you ever learned about like putting a line on the top of a number like this?
Yes.
Yeah. What do we call it?
I forgot.
I forgot. Okay. We call this recurring decimal. Recurring decimal. Okay. So I would like you to understand this because this is one of the things that we can use to differentiate between rational number and the types of number that we're going to talk after this. Okay. So if I say like this, you have 0.333 and so on, so on. We have like 3 dots over here. Actually, it's like going forever. It's repeatable. And we can actually, again, guys, write it down like this. So actually, if we convert this into a fraction, we can write this down as 1/3, right? If you put that into it. Okay. So do you guys have your calculator with you right now?
Yep.
Okay. So if you have it, take it. If you don't have it now, if you left it at home at school, you can just use your phone maybe to use it, or you can use the laptop because your laptop has a calculator, I think. Yeah, for most of them. Yeah, we're going to investigate a couple of numbers that is rational or not rational. Okay. Okay, so this is, again, guys, this is what we call recurring decimal. Okay, so if you see that it is recurring, then we can say this is a rational number. Yeah, this is also rational. Okay.
It's a irrational number because it keeps going on forever, right?
Let's talk about that after this. Okay, ini udah ditulis belum, guys?
Udah.
Udah, yang lain gimana? Ini yang lain masih kalem-kalem aja nih. Nggak ada suaranya. Saya baru dengar suara Justin, Radit, Agneta, dan tadi siapa ya satu lagi ya? Kayaknya ada satu lagi, siapa gitu. Kok ada yang keluar kayaknya deh? Siapa ya? One of your friend is not here.
No,
One, two, three.
Oh, itu si Syahira.
Yes, Syahira. Where is she?
Katanya Syahira laptopnya mati lagi, Pak.
Oh my God, what happened?
Nggak tahu, dari kemarin dia laptopnya mati juga.
So, does the laptop need CPR or something?
Nggak tahu, kayaknya di casana itu rusak.
Kok CPR sih itu kan ya?
Dia kemarin bilang katanya mau nyari cas dulu.
Iya, dia bilangnya cas cerah kemarin nggak bisa.
Oh, the charger is not working. Okay. Actually, she can use kalau darurat, she can use like phone maybe. Ya, kalau darurat aja sih. Oke, ya udah nggak apa-apa. Ini direkam kok, nanti kalau dia mau nonton aja di YouTube. Oke. Okay, let's go to the next type of number. Okay, so again, what Justin said before, we have rational and we have the opposite of rational, right? Okay, so okay, I'm gonna use bahasa ini. I'm gonna translate this to Indonesia. Irrational number. When I have this word here, rational.
Masuk akal.
Yeah, it's masuk akal, right? Masuk akal. Okay, so the opposite of rational is tidak masuk akal, right? So that will be what we call an irrational number, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. So why do we have rational? Ada yang masuk akal, ada yang nggak masuk akal. Kalau in bahasa Indonesia ya, ya nggak sih? Okay, so we're going to talk about that later ya. Maybe I'm going to explain a little bit first about irrational number. So irrational number is any number that is not rational. Tadi kan, oh iya Pak, tadi decimal juga bisa jadi rational Pak, kalau diubah jadi fraction. Terus yang irrational yang kayak gimana? Okay, now, okay, an irrational number can be only approximated yeah, as a decimal value because it never repeats and it never terminates. So this is going to be the keywords, guys. It never repeats and it never terminates. Maksudnya nggak akan selesai gitu loh. Terus
Yeah, you can
aja
see from
jalan.
the 5.
Yeah, you can see it from decimal number.
You have
Okay.
to use that recurring decimal. So it stops.
Yeah.
You need
So
to use the recurring decimal so it stops.
yeah, so when we're talking about it never repeats, it means that it doesn't have any pattern. So when we're talking before about the rational number, like 0.3333 and so on, we say that the 3 is going on forever, but it has a pattern, right? So we call that a rational number because it has a pattern. The numbers keep repeating all the time. But if we see a number that never repeats, it doesn't have any pattern, and it never ends, right? Then we call it irrational number. For example, the square root of 2. So now, this is going to be your first time using the calculator for the lesson. Please use the calculator and put square root of 2 into your calculator and then turn it into decimal. Do you know how to do it? You press,
I do.
Yeah, okay. You press the square root sign and then you press 2.
Yeah, I don't know it.
And then you press equal sign, and then you press the one that has this symbol, SD.
The answer is
Can you tell me what is that in decimal? 1? Yeah, Radit, maybe you can help me. 1 point? Ada yang udah?
1.2599210.5.
1 point, is it 2? I think it's 4. Wait. Let me use my calculator.
1.4
Yeah, 1.4.
1421356
Okay, so in your calculator, it said if you use the calculator that I told you to buy, that was going to be 1.414213562, right? Okay, so can you see any pattern in this number? Yes, Daryl, I can see your calculator. Yes, thank you. Yang lain gimana? Again, guys, you can use the calculator on your computer, on your laptop. If you don't bring if you haven't buy it yet, it's fine. But next week I expect you to have one because we're going to do a lot of things with the calculator. Yeah. Okay. So again, guys, can you see any pattern in here? Does any numbers repeat it? Repeating that, guys?
No.
Nggak ada ya, right? So you can see that after 4 we have 1 and then another 4 and then 2, 1, 3, 5, 6, 2. All of these numbers actually it doesn't end, guys, because your calculator only has a couple of digits. How many digits do we have? 1, 2, 3,
like it's
7,
like 1
8,
4 1 4 2 1 3 5 6 2 3 7 and infinite.
Yeah, there we go. Right. So actually we have a lot of numbers and it doesn't end and it never repeats. There's nothing. There's no pattern in there. So we call this what we call an irrational number. Okay. So you can also check the next number, which is the square root of 3. You do the same thing again, guys. Put the square root of 3 and then press equal sign and then press the SD button. That is actually to convert decimal to fraction and so on. Yeah. Okay, so what is that in the calculator? 1? Girls ini kayaknya belum nih. Okay. Saya mau ke Dea deh. Dea, do you have your calculator, Dea?
Belum, Pak.
Belum ada. Can you use the calculator in your laptop maybe?
Ada.
Ada. Oke, dicoba ya. Oke, yang girlsnya yang punya kalkulator sekarang siapa yang bawa? Yang ada? Gak ada semua. Fiona?
Pakai HP saya, Pak.
Oke, HP ya, udah nggak apa. Pakai HP keluarnya berapa? 1 point berapa?
1.73205080760.
076 gitu ya. Oke. So here we go, guys. Again, do we see any pattern in here? The numbers, is it repeatable or not?
No.
No, right? That's why we call it irrational number. Okay, so I'm gonna skip that cube root of 3. And hey, actually, I wanted you to do this one here also to understand on how to use the calculator. If you have the calculator, I guess that is what we call a cube root of 3. Okay, so if you use the calculator, the 991 ES plus, then you should press the shift button first. The shift button. The shift button is on the top left of your of the calculator, and then you press the square root like this, right? And then you press the 5, and then you press the equal sign, and then again you press the SD button. Okay. Silakan yang girl, saya mau yang girls. Tadi yang boys udah semua asuhan. Oke.
Pak, kalau saya cheating, Pak. Ininya apa? Ballpointnya ada penghapusnya, Pak.
Iya, nggak apa-apa sih sebenarnya, it's okay. Yang penting warnanya biru atau hitam ya. Oke, Dia gimana dia? Tadi udah cobain belum? Have you tried using the calculator?
Iya, tapi nggak apa
Nggak ada ya?
jawabannya bukan kayak banyak numbersnya gitu, Pak.
Oh gitu. Oke. Yaudah nanti kita coba ya di sekolah aja ya. Zaina, how about you? Do you have the calculator with you?
Belum, Pak.
Belum ada. Oke. Camilla. Camilla. How about you, Camilla?
I have the calculator, but it gak mau nyala gitu, Pak.
Nggak mau ya? Aduh. Ya udah, Agneta, how about you? Have you put that into the calculator?
Saya gak tahu cara taruh itu 3-nya, Pak.
Oh, 3-nya
Pakai
itu.
HP.
Oh, pakai HP ya. Oh ya, sudahlah, nggak apa-apa lah. Okay, let's skip this one. I'm gonna write down this, guys. Actually, the value is 1.709975947. Okay, again, we don't have any pattern, right? Okay, now this one is going to be interesting because I'm going to talk about this one number here. That is that one, the one that I highlight. Do you see that? What is that?
Pi, it's 3.14.
Yeah, it's pi, right? Okay, so when you are in elementary school, what is the value of pi when you taught like to calculate like the perimeter of a circle and so on? What is the value of pi?
It's 3.14 and then some other random numbers.
Okay, maybe actually we have when you are. So remember, actually, your teacher will tell you that this is this number.
22/7, right?
Is it? Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. So if I say that this pi is irrational number, but your teacher said when you were in primary school, they said that the pi is 22/7. So the question is, does 22/7 an irrational number or a rational number? That's the question.
It's a rational number.
Rational.
It's rational, right? But I said it's rational. It's irrational. So which one is true? Okay, interesting, right? You said, your teacher said that the pi is 22/7, right? When you are in primary. For example, when you want to calculate the area of a circle, right? And then the radius is 7 centimeters. Still remember that when you're in primary school? You will say that, your teacher will say that, oh, the pi used the 22/7 instead of 3.14, right? But the question is again, I'm gonna ask you again. So 22/7, is it rational or irrational?
Google says it's 22/7, so
Google said okay. The answer is 100% to Google. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So the 22/7, that value, the 22/7, is actually a rational number. But the question is, does the pi really the value of pi is 22/7? That's the real question. Okay, again, I would like you to put the 22/7 in your calculator and then see what is the decimal number of pi. 22/7 can be written as 22 divided by 7. It's the same thing. Then you press equal sign, and then what do you get as a decimal?
I get 22/7 as the
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, 22/7. You
Yeah.
can change that
Same.
into decimal. You can change that into decimal by pushing this button over here. It's actually in the top of delete and AC. Can you see it?
Which
You'll
one?
you have the one that is orange button. Can you see it?
Shift.
If I use this one, on the top of that we have S and an arrow D. Can you see that?
No. Where is it? Where
It's
is it?
oh my god. It's over. Saya masih ngeblur ya guys. Ini kan ada yang warna orange kan. Nah di atasnya nih yang ini nih itu
Oh
tulisannya
yeah.
SD ya kan. If you press that button, then you can convert decimal to fraction or the other way around. Press that. What happened?
Oh yeah.
What does it? What's the display of the 22%?
3.14, 8 plus 7, 143.
2857143. Yeah. Actually, it's 14. If I continue, it's actually 142857 again. Okay, can you
Yes,
see
same.
that? Yeah, actually, if you have more digits, will have this number. Okay, the question is, does this number here, a decimal, right? Does it repeatable? That's the question.
No.
No.
No, it's not repeatable. Because
Coba.
you can see like from the 3 it's 142 and then in the back it just
Okay.
it just doesn't, it's not a copy.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you that it's actually not 143. It's actually 142857. So the 3 on your calculator is actually rounding up the next number, which is the 8, right? So actually it's that one. Can you see my screen here on the bottom left, bottom right of my screen? I have 3.142857, 142857. Okay, the question is does that has any pattern there?
No.
It does.
Which one is it?
But it does, but on my screen it's 2587143.
Yeah, well, for 3, right? The 3 is actually a rounding. Okay, remember if we want to round numbers, for example, if I have like 3.58, if I want to round this up into one decimal place, what will it be? It'll be 3.6, right? 3.6. That's why your calculator said that it's 143, not 142857, because it doesn't have any more digits in your calculator.
But my calculator still says that it's 3.14285.
Yeah, right. 124,857, right? If you Google it, you'll get a lot of numbers. But can you see again? Can you see any pattern in here? The numbers that repeated. Okay, everyone, please. I would like you to pay attention to these numbers here. The 3.1428571, 142,857.
Oh goodness.
Do we have a repeatable number? Oke, saya tidak akan lanjut sebelum ada yang jawab. Oke, guys. Lihat angkanya. Itu angkanya berulang nggak sih? Oh, diulang lagi nih angkanya. Diulang lagi. Ada nggak?
Wait, I found the whole number of pi.
Okay, I'm gonna
Actually, the first 1,000 decimals.
Okay, that is the pi, not the pi. This 22/7. I'm just talking about that 22/7 instead of the value of pi. Saya mau ke Daryl dulu. Daryl, kamu lihat angka yang berulang nggak? Kok ini diulang lagi ya? Ini diulang lagi, ada nggak?
Kalkulator saya mati, Pak.
Ya, nggak usah lihat kalkulator, lihat aja di layar. Nih di layar kan ada 3,1428571 ya kan? Nah, pertanyaan saya, itu ada yang berulang nggak? Kok ini tuh ulang lagi ya? Angkanya diulang lagi. Lihat
Iya,
aja.
berulang, Pak.
Yang mana?
Yang ini. 1420557.
Itu
Nah,
8
terus
ya? Nah, iya benar. Yes,
oh,
itu maksud saya.
8.
Yeah, that's
Nah,
what I mean, guys.
Terus diulang lagi, Pak.
Yes, that's what I mean, guys. Thank you very much, Daryl. Yes. Can you see that this number here, this number 142857, right, is repeated again. 142857 diulang lagi. Ini kalau diterusin gitu ya, sama terus 14287, 142 terus dan terus. That's why we call that 22/7. Instead, although it's a decimal number, we can say that it is a rational number. When we write this down in a recurring decimal, right, we can write this down as ini. Jadinya 3.14287 and then you put a line on the top of these numbers. That means that 142,857 will repeat it forever. This is, again, a rational number. So let's go back to the question again. So, but it said that the pi is not a rational number. It is an irrational number. So can you go to your calculator again and then press the pi? Do you know what the pi is?
Yes.
Yes, the pi is, you press the shift button on the top left, and then on the bottom,
It's on the bottom, actually, the
Yeah.
bottom.
the
middle
bottom one,
bottom.
in the middle bottom, the middle bottom of your calculator, you can see that on the top there is a like a writing like in yellow and also in red, right? So the
It's
shift,
3.1592654.
okay, so I'm gonna use my calculator again. Yeah? So pi equals to is so that will be this one. The exact value is actually 3.141592654. Okay, now let's see this number here. This number has a pattern. Yes or no? Kalau tadi kan berulang ya, 142,857-nya ulang lagi. Tapi ini berulang kan? Ada yang berulang nggak?
Enggak.
Nggak ada ya? Right? Yeah, you see? Right? You don't see any pattern here. So that's why this is an irrational number. So the exact value of pi is actually not a rational number. But the question again, guys, why did your teacher in primary school give you the value of pi 22/7? That's the question.
Because it's easier for us to understand, maybe.
Yes, actually it's yes. But doesn't that mean that they lied to you? Okay, that's not the value of pi, guys. So the value of pi is not 22/7, but it's that number over there. And it actually has a lot of digits over there, right? So they didn't lie to you guys. Yes, Justin said is actually correct. That because you're still in primary, you can't just like see a lot of numbers like this. I mean, like in decimal, and you have a lot of types of number like in irrational number like this. So they simplify it for you guys. So they use that 22/7 to simplify the calculation. Because as you can see that the first 3 digits of number is the same, which is 3.14, right? Sama-sama 3.14 ya guys. Jadi kenapa dipakai? Karena biar lebih gampang gitu, karena masih SD. Nah, tapi sekarang guys, please use this ya. If you have any questions regarding, for example, circle, and you want to find the area or the circumference of the area, and if there's no instruction for you to use the value of pi, please use the value of pi that is in your calculator. That's one of the reason why we need the calculator, ya. Jadi exact value-nya. Oke? Oke. Lanjut ya guys. Udah ditulis? Okay, let's go to the next type of number. Okay, the next types of number, actually this is going to be the last one. We have what we call a real number. Okay, real number. Real number itu apa bahasa Indonesianya? Ada nggak ya?
Nomor asli.
Nomor asli. Tadi udah yang asli yang atas, natural number. Asli udah. Apa nih? Daryl kayaknya mau jawab tapi bingung.
Well, basically it's all of the types of numbers into one.
Okay, so basically, of course, the real number means that all of the numbers that we just learned from number 1 until number 5, right? So all of them, we call it real number. But guys, I have a question also. We have rational and we have the opposite of rational, which is irrational. If we have real number, do we have the opposite of real number? Kalau kita
It's
punya,
because, so basically the numbers will be different types. So for example, if we take the number 1 again, we can find that it's actually just the whole integer and then the real and the other one. Apa tuh namanya?
tadi ada
Apa
natural,
natural whole
yeah,
integer and real.
integers. Yes. Okay. So all of these number, guys, the types of number that we just learned from number 1 to number 5, all of them are real numbers. So again, guys, like I said before, a number can have more than one type of number. Okay, for example, like this one over here, let's say it's square root of 3. It is included into irrational number and also real number, right? And for example, like -2, this is not natural because it's negative. It's not whole number, but it is an integers, right? It is an integers, it is a rational number, and it is a real number. And so on, so on, so on, right? So again, guys, after this, we're going to have an activity, and I would like you to take your exercise book after this. I'm gonna have a table for you guys. Table maksudnya tabel ya, bukan meja. And then you are going to investigate a number, like a couple of numbers, and determine whether that number included into which type of number. Yeah. But I'm gonna ask you one more thing, guys. Like I said before, we have rational, we have irrational. Ada yang masuk akal, ada lawannya tidak masuk, ada lawannya yaitu irrational. Kalau ada real, ada nggak yang lawannya real? Kebalikannya dari real number. Ada nggak, guys? Kalau tadi rational lawannya irrational, ya kan? Masuk akal, ya tidak masuk akal. Kalau real number, lawannya apa? Okay. Real
Nomor
number
KW gitu, Pak.
nomor KW. Yes, actually that's a pretty interesting answer. Actually, yes, we have the opposite of real number. Okay, we call it. Ini opposite-nya ya. Ini nggak usah ditulis, nggak apa-apa, guys. Ini cuma like for you to know. Actually, we have one more type of number, and we're not going to learn about this. I just want you to know that there is the opposite of real number, which is what we call the imaginary number.
I don't think I've heard that one before.
Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so we have real, we have imagine, right? Yang asli sama yang cuma ada di khayalan, ya enggak? Sama aja karena dunia asli dengan dunia maya, dunia game, ya enggak? Imaginary. So, actually we have what we call imaginary. Again, guys, I would like you to use the calculator and press this in the calculator and see what you got. The square root of a -1. Okay. What does it say? You can use the calculator in Google actually, or in your phone. Okay. First, if you have the calculator, what it said? Okay, Tristan said it's math error. Yes. Yang lain gimana? Siapa tahu nggak error yang lain? Itu pertanyaannya yang error ke kalkulatornya apa emang? That's the question.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes, Agneta?
Itu, Pak, tulisannya can show undefined result.
Yeah, okay. Yang lain gimana? Thank you Agneta, thank you Tristan. Tristan saya udah lihat, thank you. Yang lain, guys? Again, guys, you can use the phone or the calculator in your phone or in your laptop. Yang lain gimana? Dika, halo. Halo Dika. Moshi. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Ohayou gozaimasu. Dika, halo.
Oh ya, dia mic-nya kan error kalau
Oh,
misalnya.
mic-nya wah. Iya, tapi yang kelihatan cuma jidatnya doang nih, saya bingung nih. Nah, gitu. Oke, gimana guys? Jadinya tadi ada couldn't find any result, terus tadi ada math error, terus jadi gimana dong gitu kan? Yeah, this is what we call imaginary numbers, guys. Actually, if you Google this, it will result into this letter. The letter I. I stands for imaginary number. So why do we have this imaginary number? Actually, you're going to learn this in college. No, actually you don't. I think you won't learn this in senior high school, but instead it's going to be in college. So actually we have numbers that can be calculated, but you can't just put them into real things. So let me go back to rational and irrational numbers. One of the things that you can use to differentiate rational and irrational number is like this. Rational means masuk akal, right? So you can actually use this in your daily life. For example, if you want to buy some eggs, misalnya ke warung mau beli telur, oke, bisa nggak dipakai? Misalnya 1/2, 1/2. Can we use that? How can we use it, guys? Gimana ngomongnya? Misalnya pengen beli apa? Tadi siapa ya? Adli. Adli juga sama nih, cuma kelihatan sampai mata aja. Bagaimana? Saya mau ke Dea lagi ya. Dea, bisa nggak dipakai 1/2? How can you use that to buy eggs? Pernah beli telur nggak? Pernah beli telur ke warung nggak? Itu pertanyaan pertama ya, pernah ya. Oke, ya udah deh. Saya kasih contoh ya. I'm gonna give you example. So we can use that actually to like measure weight. Okay? Beli telur setengah kilo, bisa ya? Ya, beli telur berapa? Sekilo, 2 kilo, setengah kilo, right? 1/2. 1/2 can be said as half kilogram, right? So that's why we call it fractional, because we can actually use that in our real life, for example, like that. Beli apa? Beli apa ya? Beli bubur misalnya. Pak, buburnya setengah aja. Ya nggak, pernah nggak? Gitu. Kayaknya kalian nggak terlalu banyak misalnya. Atau enggak, Pak, sepertiga aja misalnya gitu, right? You can actually use these numbers, right, in your daily life. But when we're talking about irrational numbers, you can use this actually, but it's gonna not make any sense when you want to buy something. For example, tadi beli telur. Pak, beli telur berapa kilo? Akar 2 kilo. Gimana itu? Bingung pasti yang jualnya, right? Right? Atau akar 3, Pak. Pai, kilogram, Pak. Aneh, right? So that's what we call it. Yang tadi rational masuk akal, yang ini nggak masuk akal. Maksudnya, you cannot actually use this in your real daily life, right? For example, like that situation when you buy something, right? Okay, so again, guys, real number. Actually, we have one more imaginary, but again, guys, this is just for you to know. We're not going to learn about this more deeply. Yeah, I just want you to know that we have that imaginary number. Okay, now I would like you to please take your exercise book. Do you have it with you? Exercise book ada nggak? Bawa nggak? Kalau nggak bawa, you can use a paper, sheets of paper. Boleh pakai paper biasa aja yang kosong ya, guys. Silakan diambil. So we're going to do this activity over here. Okay, so I'm gonna post this in Edmodo. So you have to submit it now, yeah, before the end of the lesson. The lesson will end at 9 o'clock. We still have 30 minutes, a lot of time. Right, so we're going to do this. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do it. So we have a lot of numbers on the top. We have -3, this cube root of -8, and so on, so on. So you need your calculator for this one. Again, if you don't have any calculator, if you don't have it right now, you can use Google, or you can use the scientific calculator. Actually, you have it in if you have a laptop. Actually, you can change the calculator into scientific calculator. Please find out how to do it. Yeah. Okay, so we have a lot of numbers on the top, right? And then we have types of number that we just learned, which are natural number, whole number, integer, rational, irrational, and real number. I would like you to classify whether this number included into that type of number. For example, I'm gonna put another number over here. You don't have to write this down, okay, guys? So for example, like 4. Okay, 4. Does this number included into natural number? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Hello? Halo, ha? Gak ada yang jawab?
Yes.
Yes, ya. Karena because we know that natural numbers comes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh ya, berarti natural number. So you checklist that natural number. Ya kan, natural number kan? Is it a whole number? Yes or no? Tadi whole number dari 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh ya, 4 juga masuk ya. Berarti checklist juga. Okay, next one, integers.
Masuk.
Masuk ya, okay, good. Rational number.
Enggak.
Enggak. Okay, let's go back to rational number.
Bukannya karena kalau rational number itu 2 ya?
Okay. Ini saya tadi belum jelasin ya. Okay, for example. Berapa ya? 5. Okay, can we express 5 as a ratio of 2 integers? Yes or no? Bisa nggak? Okay, I'm gonna give you the answer actually. We can write it down actually like this. Do you agree with that? Can we write 5 as 10/2? Can we? Bisa nggak sih? Ini ada yang setuju bagaimana? Setuju apa enggak? Kalau nggak setuju ya udah. Gimana guys? Setuju nggak? Kalau 5 itu bisa ditulis 10/2. 10/2 kan sama aja 10 bagi 2. 10 bagi 2 berapa sih?
5.
5 kan? Right? Bisa dong, right? So the question, my question again, does 5 included into rational number? Yes or no? Yes, ya kan? Karena kita bisa tulis dalam fraction kan? Or actually we can write 5 as 5/1. Ya kan? Bisa juga kan? 5/1 is the same thing like 5 divided by 1. Right? It is a fraction. It is a ratio, right? But we can change them also into a whole number, gitu kan? So that's why, well, if we have like this, like 4, 3, 2, 1, actually it's also a rational number, right? So let's go back to the question again here. Okay. So it is actually, yes, a rational number. Okay. So if it is a rational number, is it an irrational number? Kalau dia rasional berarti dia irasional nggak? Kata Syairnya dia geleng-geleng sih tadi saya lihat. Yes or no? Enggak ya guys. Jadi kalau dia masuk rational number berarti dia nggak masuk irrational number gitu. Kalau masuk akal ya udah berarti tidak termasuk dong kayak yang tidak masuk akal gitu kan. Oke. The last one. If you checklist one of these 5, salah satu aja ke checklist ya dari 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dari natural number, whole number, integer, rational, and irrational, berarti dia real number. Yeah. So this is what you're going to do now, okay? So I would like you to make this table over here. If you can actually make it into landscape, bukunya dijadiin landscape aja guys. Ditulisnya begini aja, it's fine, no problem. Nanti saya langsung kirim ke Edmodo untuk ngerjain ini. Kita kerjain kerjain sekarang. Kalau ada yang pertanyaan silakan langsung nanya gitu. So again guys, you have to use the calculator for example like this one over here. Ini kan susah ya, saya nggak tahu ini bisa nggak jadi rational. Oke. Contoh ya guys. Tadi kan square root of 2 itu kan irrational ya. Sekarang saya mau tanya, square root of 4 itu irrational nggak? Kita bisa simplify nggak? Kita bisa ganti nggak ke angka lain? Square root of 4 itu berapa sih? Square root of 4 itu berapa sih? Akar 2 berapa guys? Akar 4 itu berapa sih? Bisa calculate. 2, right? It's 2. So you can change square root of 4 into. So if 2 is rational, for example, if 2 is rational number, right? So square root of 4 is also rational number because square root of 4 is equal to 2. Ya enggak? Jadi maksudnya gini guys, although you can see that there is a root form, tapi nggak selamanya semua yang root form itu dia pasti irrational number gitu. Kalian harus pastiin itu dulu, masukin ke kalkulator. So you put this into the calculator and then press the equal sign and then what do you get? Oke, sekarang saya mau tanya ini dulu deh. Oke guys, put that into the calculator. What do you get guys? Silakan. The cube root of -8. Hasilnya berapa?
Error.
Masa? Cube root ya, bukan square root. Ini cube root. Pangkatnya 3.
Oh.
Hati-hati.
Oke.
Pangkatnya 3. Oke. Gimana? Ada yang udah? Justin udah? Radit udah? Dapatnya berapa? Oke, Dika ya, Dika. Diketik aja, diketik. Boleh. Saya lihat ketikannya aja ya. Oke, chat. Nah, sip. Oke. Dika bilang katanya -2. That is correct actually, guys. So we can change this gitu kan. Jadi -2. Ya kan? Nah, sekarang kita fokusnya ke sini. -2 masuk ke natural number nggak? Coba geleng-geleng itu. Ya, natural number.
Enggak.
Dong. Natural number kan dari 1, 2, 3. Ingat natural number itu adalah angka-angka yang waktu kamu pelajari waktu kamu masih bayi, masih kecil. 1, 2, 3 gitu kan. Berarti kan dia nggak termasuk natural number ya, berarti ini X gitu kan. Masuk whole number gak guys? Negative 2 ya, kita fokusnya ke negative 2 aja. Masuk nggak?
Enggak.
Nggak juga.
Iya,
Nggak juga dong ya, karena kan negatif ya. Integers masuk nggak?
Iya.
Ya, betul. Berarti kalau dia integer, dia udah pasti rational number, benar ya?
Iya.
Ya, oke. Kalau dia rational, berarti dia nggak mungkin irrational. Ya kan? Terus kalau salah satu aja dari kelima ini, kalau ada satu yang di checklist, berarti udah pasti dia real number, ya kan? So the last one will be checklist like this. Oh, kayak gitu, ya. So this is how you are going to do it, because all of these numbers here needs to use the calculator. Ini harus dimasukin kalkulator dulu, lihat sama dengan hasilnya berapa. Kalau tadi ingat gak guys, bedanya rational sama irrational? If you see that the decimal doesn't goes forever and it doesn't have any pattern, maka itu adalah irrational number. Ya, oke? Paham maksudnya? Paham ya?
Paham.
Oke. Now please go to your exercise book and please make this table, right? And then write all of them and then please do the checklist now ya guys sekarang. Thank you. Silakan. Saya tunggu di sini. Kalau ada yang mau bertanya silakan. Kita masih punya 20 minutes, a lot of time. 20 minutes itu cukup lama ya. Sebenarnya enaknya di kelas ya. Jadi sebenarnya saya udah printin ini guys. Buat di kelas tapi ternyata online ya sudahlah. Apa-apa. Kita bisa lebih enak diskusinya kalau di kelas. Tapi nggak apa-apa. Oke.
YouTube-nya namanya Ramlan Sapi kan ya Pak?
Ramlan Edu Idea.
Edu Idea Ramlan.
Edu Idea Ramlan yang 800 subscriber.
Belum. Belum sampai. Oke. Lanjut ya guys. Ini saya pause dulu ya. Pause the recording karena kalian lagi ngerjain ini. Oke, ちょっと待ってください。